It's always so weird. Such a it is a real fun sensory experience right now. This bread is maybe my most proud bread moment. I feel like my grandma is just shining down on me and saying, hell yes, I'm so happy for you. Gluten-free focaccia bread. Look at this. Oh my gosh. It's soft, it's fluffy, it's doughy, but it has like the crispy olive oil-ness going on at the bottom. And bonus, it's super easy to make. You just mix it together, you dump it in a pan, you don't even have to knead it or anything. It rises and then you pop it in the oven. In fact, the dough is a little bit questionable when you make it, but it turns out fabulous. Look at this stuff, so good. So let me show you how easy it is to make this for reals. So we're gonna start off activating the yeast in a water-milk combination. So I have 3/4 cup of water, 3/4 cup of milk. If you need a dairy-free recipe, you could just swap out dairy-free milk. I heat it in the microwave for about a minute, and then that'll give it a temperature of around 110 degrees is what you're looking for. And then we're going to put a package of active dried yeast in it. Honestly, I use yeast so much, I buy this in bulk and I just store it in jars. And then there's this cool little thing that's a yeast package measurer. So it's like 2 1/4 teaspoons. So when you need a package of yeast, you just grab this and that's the correct amount. So sprinkle it over your warm water. Just gonna give it a little stir with my instant thermometer, which is one of my favorite kitchen tools. And then I'm just gonna set that aside for 5 minutes while we mix together the dry ingredients. So you'll need 2 1/2 cups of gluten-free flour. Now, I love cup for cup gluten-free flour. That's what I always use. But if you go to the recipe, you could read through the comments and see what other people have used too. It works with a variety of flours, but I find the texture of cup for cup is the best. A tablespoon of sugar, and then a teaspoon of baking powder. When I'm doing gluten-free breads, I always do a mixture of yeast with the baking powder. I feel like it just, when it bakes, it aerates the crumb a little bit better. So it's unconventional. You usually don't do that with regular bread recipes, but I find that it is the magic ticket. And then a teaspoon of kosher salt. And then we're just gonna mix that together just to combine it really quick. And then we're ready to put our yeast milk water mixture in. So the yeast water mixture, when it's done, it should be like foamy on top. You could just mix it again. And then we're going to pour that in with 3 tablespoons of oil. So this is all that's in the bread. So you notice there's no eggs. If you want to do dairy-free, you could do dairy-free milk. So it's actually a vegan recipe too. And then combine that until it just comes together. Once it's mixed together, then I'm going to turn the mixer on for about 5 or 6 minutes and just let it mix. This also helps gluten-free breads because it needs extra time for all the water to saturate into the gluten-free flour. It has a harder time kind of combining together. So I'm going to mix it for 6 minutes. It's gonna seem like a weirdly long time, but just set a timer and forget it. All right, when the dough's done, you're gonna question things. But I'm telling you, you have to trust. So the dough's kind of runny, and that's what it's supposed to look like. It's not going to be a dough that you could shape at all, which makes it easier. We don't have to shape it, we can just pour it in a pan. So for your pan, I like using a cast iron pan because it gets those really crispy edges around with all the olive oil. If you don't have a cast iron pan, you could use a 9-inch cake pan too. So we're gonna coat our pan in olive oil and just be real aggressive about it. You want about 2 tablespoons, maybe 3. So we're just gonna get after it with some olive oil. And then I'm just gonna use my fingers and kind of swirl that around and put it around the edges so it doesn't stick. Don't be shy. with the olive oil at this point. All right, and then you're just going to spread it out as much as you can with a spoon. See how thin the dough is? I think because the dough is so loose, that's what makes this bread so good. I'm always like, if you don't have to add the extra flour to shape the dough, don't add it. It's when you add all that extra flour is when it gets really dry and you have those like typical gluten-free sucky results. All right, guess what we're gonna do now? More olive oil. This is the fun part. I'm gonna put a little bit more on top. I'm just going to spread that around. A real fun sensory experience right now. All right, now it's time for toppings. So classic, I do a flaky sea salt and then I do fresh rosemary. You could also do sun-dried tomatoes, you could do olives, you could do caramelized onions, dried meats like salami or prosciutto. You could do asparagus. I don't know if if you really want to go down a rabbit hole, look up pictures of focaccia bread art. It is bananas what people do with focaccia bread. All right, and then the rosemary, I'm just gonna sprinkle these leaves all over. Okay, here's the highlight, sensory experience. We're going to put the holes in it with our finger. So I'm just gonna go all the way down to the bottom of the pan. And don't worry, if you could like see the bottom of the pan, when it rises and bakes, those will fill in. And some of the olive oil like kind of gets in those holes. So good. Now we're just gonna set it aside to rise. I don't even cover it. I just put it on my oven that's preheating to 350 and just set it aside for 30 minutes. And at 30 minutes, we're gonna put it in the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. The top should be very lightly golden brown. I'll show you when it comes out. So to eat this bread, honestly, you just get after it. But the other thing, if you want the true Italian experience, is you can make a little dipping sauce for it. So I just eyeball this. I just do a little olive oil. You could do some fresh, let's see what this turns out being, pepper. Some salt, a little crushed red pepper. You could do Italian seasoning or fresh Parmesan would be really good in it too. And then just put out little bowls for people to dip them in. So good. It first appeared in my shameless plug, my gluten-free cookbook, which you can get on Amazon, and I'll link to that into the description below. The bread is best enjoyed the day that it's made. If you have to make it ahead of time, I would suggest then just making it, cooling it completely, and wrapping it in plastic wrap and putting it in the freezer. You could rewarm it in this pan in a low oven, like just loosely put some foil over it, or you could just rewarm slices in the microwave too. And you can find the full printable recipe on the recipe link below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.